Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where we're working through the ABRSM Theory Grades. There are lots of resources available to help you if you visit my website. If you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets. They're available in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. There's also a page with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can also access information about the books that I have available. I've written an exam technique guide, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for your exam, and also how to best make use of the time when you're in the exam room working through your exam paper. So if you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find it's all there. If you can give me a like, that'd be really great, and subscribe to my channel to keep updated. And so let's get working. We're going to finish the final questions on the paper C of this 2017 booklet of practice papers. And so if you turn with me to page 13, we're going to have a go at question 8. And so now we're going to be looking at the performance directions and the Italian terms, and they're now going to be presented to you from this exam period from 2018 onwards in multiple choice. However, that doesn't mean that they don't need quite so much revision. In actual fact, I think multiple choice can confuse the issue at times, and so you've got to be really certain of your answer. So there's no escape but to just do some revision for this. I always suggest that you group things thematically, just to help you to see those word associations for different groups. So let's have a go. I presume that you've had a go of these. If not, just have a crack at it. It doesn't matter if it's not correct. You can always rub it out. You'll learn better by your mistakes. And so we'll just check through these together now. So they've shown us here what's expected, how to answer the question. So a tempo means in time, and so we check that one there. So here we have a metronome marking, and we've got 2 points to consider. So we've got a crotchet or a quarter note equals 48, and so that means 48 crotchet beats per minute. What that means in performance terms is just slightly less than 1 a second. That's the tempo. And so just 48 crotchet beats isn't sufficient because that isn't saying in what time frame. 48 crotchet notes isn't right either, because the music is always comprised of more than just 48 random notes in succession. We need to make sure that it's in a minute. If it was 48 crotchets in the melody, that wouldn't be a very exciting melody either. So we make sure that we show it's a tempo direction, showing you how fast to play the piece. Cantabile means in a singing style. Quite an operatic word in my imagination, so that helps me to remember that. Now Adagio means slow, and if you've grouped these thematically in your revision, you will also see that another word which also means slow is lento. So if you've grouped those two together, that will just help you to revise those. So in this context, we're looking at the word Adagio. Now here, this symbol, we need to be careful to see how it's applied, because there are ways where this little sort of mark here, this little curvy line, can mean a tie, but it must be applied to 2 notes next to each other of the same pitch, adding those pitch values together, note head to note head. Here it's different pitch, so that means a slur. However, be careful, because a slur does not mean detached. It means to perform it smoothly. So just be careful that you don't see the first part of a question or the definition, and just make sure that you get the correct definition. So you've really got to read these carefully. There's a few red herrings there. This is the sign or the symbol for diminuendo, and it's a dynamics or volume term, and you can see it's fading away, it's closing down the volume. And so that means gradually getting quieter. It's nothing to do with tempo, so it's not getting quicker, it's not getting slower, it's not getting louder, because that would be the opening out symbol. This is the closing down of the volume, gradually getting quieter. So that's the end of that question. Let's just turn over the page, and now we're going to look at question 9. And so now all of the questions in this last section are referring to this little extract here. And so we need to just look at the questions and keep referring back to this little melody here. So we're asked to give the time name, so whether you choose to refer to it as a crotchet or a quarter note, or a minim or a half note, or whatever the appropriate answer is, that's either of those terms is acceptable, but we need to name the longest note in the melody with a time name. And so let's just glance through the melody, and we can see that this is most definitely the longest note. That's a 2-beat note, and so that would be either a minim or a half note. Either one of those names is acceptable. Now then, we've got a bit of scouring through this extract to find the answer to this. We need to give the number of a bar that contains 2 notes next to each other that are a third apart. Now, a clue to look for notes that are a third apart is, if you're looking on the staves, a third apart is either going to be a line to line or a space to a space. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we know we're looking for that kind of distance apart. And we can see that straight away in bar 1. So that we could say bar 1. However, we can see that that happens again in bar 2. Excuse me. It actually happens again in bar 4. And again in bar 5, so we've got lots to choose from, so any one of those bars is acceptable. So bars 1, 2, 4 or 5, excuse me, will each answer this question. Looking ahead, so now we've got to see if these statements are correct. So we need to say true or false. So the 4 in the time signature 2/4, so this number here means crotchet or quarter notes. Well, that's true because we can see 2 quarters, 2 quarter notes, which is 2 crotchet beats, and so that's correct. So we'll say true. And then all of the notes in bars 7 to 8 can be found in the key of F major. So let's have a look at that. So F major has a key signature of B flats. And so if we look at bars 7 to 8, we need to just check, and we need here straight away that jumps out at us, and that note there does not belong to the key of F major, because F major has flats, it has no sharps at all, and the fact that we've got a C sharp or any sharp means that it can't belong to this scale. And so that's a false statement, because that C sharp can't be explained in terms of the key of F major. Looking on, give the letter name of the lowest note in the melody. And so let's just scan through and see what we can find as the lowest note. So this one here looks to be the lowest so far. Yes, it is. That's the lowest note, and we're reading in bass clef, so just be careful there. We're in bass clef. And if you remember, the spaces are all cows eat grass, so that's the bottom note, A. Now this last question, question B, we get 10 marks just for copying the music. So just be careful, just keep your eyes peeled to make sure you're copying the correct bit. And we're copying from the start of bar 5 to the end of the extract. So just be careful you don't copy the beginning section, it's the end section. And they've even reminded us exactly what they want to be included. So we just copy what's there, but they've given us the reminder not to forget the clef, the key signature, the dynamics and all of the details. You do not need the time signature because the time signature is only present in bar 1. And because we're starting from bar 5, that time signature isn't required. Neither is the tempo direction because that's also at the beginning of the extract and we're starting halfway through. It does make it a bit tricky because we can't align our bars, so we've just got to be very careful that we stay aware of where we are and where we're copying from. So we need the clef, we need the key signature, and then we'll have to copy out all the dynamic details in the notes as we go. So I'm just going to give myself 1, 2, 3, 4 bars. We perhaps don't need massive, huge bars because there's only 2 beats in a bar. So here we go then. So we're starting from here. Up a space to the top line, down a step, just keeping track where we're going, and then we've got 2 notes down and step. And then up a step. And then there we go. So they need to be beamed with the bar lines. By all means use a ruler, whatever you need to keep it neat and tidy. I'm just trying to be quick for you in this instant. So in bar 7, you could, if you wanted to, even pop bar 5, 6, 7 and 8 just to help you. So bar 7 has the crescendo marking, bar 8 has the diminuendo bar marking, and then we just need to make sure we put all of these slurs in. Slur each of those bars, and then that completes that question, and that also completes that exam paper. I do hope that you found that helpful. I hope that this is of use to you. If you can give me a like, that'd be really great. That'd be encouraging to me. And please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. Also, please do visit sharonbill.com and make use of all of the resources available to you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.